Hello, this is Mark Denham, radio presenter, audio producer, podcaster, and voiceover. Today on the audio journey, we're looking at EQ and specifically when not to EQ your audio. To do that, we have a piece of audio which is recorded like this. This is an audio recording, initially with the full spectrum included. And when you look at that, as well as listen to it, you look at it on the right in the frequency analysis window, which you can open up at any time from window and frequency analysis. When we look at that, what we'll do is we will capture a print of that. You can see that there are frequencies all the way along the audio spectrum. So we will capture a frequency of that. And what we will now do is we will copy this into a new file and we'll put a high-pass filter on here. High-pass filter will allow anything higher than what you're saying through the filter. Anything lower than that will be cut off. So we'll put this to the default and we'll put on a high-pass filter at 400 hertz. Now let's have a listen. This is an audio recording, initially with the full spectrum included. Now you can't really see that in the frequency analysis window because it's quite low. You've got the full spectrum here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take that up to, let's say, 1500, and that's going to be a ridiculous filter now. This is an audio recording, initially with the full spectrum included. Okay, so that's that done, and we will apply that in Untitled 5. And what we'll do is we'll go back to our original and we'll copy it again to another new one. And this time we'll put in a low-pass filter. A low-pass filter allows anything lower than the number through. Anything higher will be thrown away. So we'll go up here to the low-pass filter and we'll set that at 6,000, which is going to cut off a lot of the treble. This is an audio recording, initially with the full spectrum included. And you can hear that that is now very, very muffled audio, okay? So we have the full spectrum here, which is audio recording, initially with the full spectrum included. Now, you may think that you're EQing your audio if you're recording a voiceover. You may think you're EQing your audio. You can see here already the difference in these. What I'm going to do, actually, is I'm going to copy them all into the one file, and then we can work with them side by side. And we'll take this one. No, I don't want to save it. I want to copy it. We'll take this one, and we'll drop it at the end. And you can see there, obviously, in reducing the lows in this one, we've removed a lot of the volume from the audio as well, but we'll normalize them all up, okay? This is an audio recording, initially with the full spectrum included. This is an audio recording, initially with the full spectrum included. This is an audio recording, initially with the full spectrum included. Okay, so there's all three of them now, and you can see that they're very, very different. Let's capture a noise print from this one, and we'll put that in yellow. Let's capture a noise print from this one, and we'll put that in a cyan color. And if we look at this now, you can see the original one in red has the entire spectrum. The secondary one in yellow has virtually nothing at the low end, and the last one in cyan has nothing at the top end. But the issue here now is, if you are a voiceover artist and you are recording for somebody else and sending that off, it may very well be that they want to remove all the low end and put a high-pass filter on it. You have to leave them that option. Again, it may be that your audio is perhaps just a little bit too top-end heavy for the audio producer. Leave it in there. Leave them the option of EQing it when they come to produce. Because what you can see now, if you go into the parametric equalizer here, parametric equalizer, and we'll set it to default, and we'll just play this bit here. I'm going to loop this bit. There we are. We'll select that, and we'll put loop on. This is an audio recording, initially with the full spectrum included. You can see that there is nothing here to work with. This is an audio recording, initially with the full spectrum included. So even if I boost that, you can't boost what's not there because I've already cut it. And that is a problem in removing that. Now let's reset this to default again. And what we'll do now is we'll select this bit of audio at the end. This is an audio recording, initially with the full spectrum included. And you can see this is an audio recording, initially with the full spectrum included. We can't add back what we've taken away. If we go back to the original audio here, you can see that we have the full spectrum. This is an audio recording, initially with the full spectrum included. So with that, I could then put on a high pass filter, roll off the bass rumble. I could add a bit of high end here. This is an audio recording, initially with the full spectrum included. You can hear they're far too sibilant, but I have the option of whether to go. This is an audio recording, initially with the full spectrum included. I have the option of whether to add that in or not. So if ever you are recording a voiceover that you are not producing, you're recording the voice, you're sending it off to someone else, by all means, just do a little subtle bit of EQ on that audio. Let's go back again and delete these two. So here is your voiceover, and you can go in now. You can go to effects, and you can go to whichever EQ you choose, the graphic 10, 20, 30 band, the parametric equalizer. We'll put that at default. This is an audio and you may say, well, that's a little bit muddy down the bottom, so I'll put on a high pass filter, maybe even at 100. Recording, initially with the full spectrum included. I wouldn't go that high if I wasn't producing it, mind you. I'd stick at 80 if I wasn't producing it myself. This is an audio recording, initially with the full spectrum included. And I may think, all right, I'll roll off a little here. This is an audio recording, initially with the full spectrum included. This is an audio recording, initially with the full spectrum included. You can see there, though, I've only made subtle changes to that audio. And when we look at it now in this frequency analysis window, when we look at it here, this is an audio recording, initially with the full spectrum included. You can see that I've not rolled anything away other than that very, very low end beneath 80 hertz, in which there would be no human voice included anyway. And just by doing that, I may have improved my own voice a little bit, but I've left the producer audio to equalize, because all equalize is boosting the volume of some frequencies and cutting the volume of others. If you've got silence, if you've cut away all of the frequencies to silence, then you can't boost them, can you? Because there's nothing to boost. But by leaving them in there, maybe just, highlighting a little bit of your voice, what you think are the best frequencies, then you are leaving the producer something to produce with. So if ever you're recording a voiceover that you will not be producing yourself, that you are sending off to someone else to make a commercial, to do a narration, leave it to them to decide how to EQ the audio. We already discussed this before with compression. If I slam on here a bit of multi-band compression, let's say, and I go for broadcast, full spectrum included. This is an audio recording, initially with the full spectrum included. Okay, so I slam in that multi-band compression and I apply it. Watch how the audio changes. Very difficult to undo that once you've saved it. I can obviously undo it by pressing Control or Command and Z, and that undoes it because I haven't saved the file. Once you've saved that, though, that's that change made. Same with EQ. If you roll off everything far too low, then nobody can restore that. If you take off everything far too high, nobody can restore that. So if you are recording a voiceover for somebody else to produce, please, by all means, give it a little bit of a polish, but don't eradicate the frequencies that the end producer will need. Do hope you found this helpful. As always, if there are any questions, markdenham.com. You can ask your questions there. You can also leave a question even as a comment in the YouTube section below as well. Go away, have some fun, make some amazing audio. But before you go, please think about subscribing and ticking the bell.